Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two blended whiskeys from the United States. One is an American blended whiskey. The other one is a specifically Kentucky blended whiskey. They're both 80 proof. They're both owned by Beam Suntory, and neither one of them have a website. Now, it's still dark. We're hoping dawn will arrive during the broadcast. Some people say the low resolution and the darkness bothers them. I understand that, but this is mostly an audio broadcast anyway. Now, Kessler, it says American blended whiskey. That means it's distilled somewhere in America. Might be Midwest Grain Products of Indiana. Could be anywhere. But it does not say Kentucky blended whiskey. It's only blended. It says blended and bottled in Kentucky. If it was produced in Kentucky, I'm sure they would say it. All right. It could be a blend of different products from around the United States. Could be coming in from Missouri, Indiana, and Kentucky, but whatever. It's a 72.5% to 27.5% blend ratio, which means it's 72.5% unaged corn liquor, grain spirits, grain neutral spirits, or neutral grain spirits, however you want to phrase it, blended with two-year aged straight whiskey. All right. And then bottled in Kentucky. Now, the competitor, and this was introduced in 1888. Probably has changed the recipe, but 1888, Julius Kessler introduced this product. I was reading an Old Time magazine article from 1935. Julius Kessler was still the brand representative for the company Kessler. He was 80 years old in 1935, still working in the liquor industry. But his company had been taken over by Seagram's. Okay, so Kessler was sold to Seagram's. And then in 1994, Seagram's sold a bunch of their products to Beam. And then 6 years later, Seagram's went out of business because they had a lot of internal financial problems. All right. So that's Julius Kessler, born in Budapest, Austrian Empire, Hungary today, but that was just called the Austrian Empire at the time he was born. Brook. No bottle appears without this man's facsimile, his picture. Julius Kessler's picture is always on his whiskey. There's a drawing of Julius Kessler. And there is the government liquor inspector. I don't know if they wear that same uniform today. I wish they did. They probably wear a polo shirt now that says TTB, Tax and Trade Bureau, or a windbreaker. But they should go back to this uniform. Robert Hendricks, the Whiskey Scouts, thought it was General John Pershing. But no, it's not General Pershing. It's the friendly whiskey inspector. Making sure that if it says 80-20 blend ratio, it really is 80% grain spirits and 20% aged straight whiskey. And the straight whiskeys in this bottle are at least 4 years old. So now we're talking about 4-year-old straight whiskey as opposed to 2-year-old. Could they be using 2-year-old Jim Beam and 4-year-old, which is the standard Jim Beam bourbon in this? Well, it's probably what it is. Now, could it be Jim Beam that didn't come out quite right? Like it was a little off or something. They didn't want to put it in their flagship bourbon bottles. Well, that would be a very believable situation because they're not going to waste it. Okay. This is a Kentucky whiskey. And that's a fact. So the whole product has to be from Kentucky. It has to be distilled, blended, and bottled in Kentucky to be called Kentucky whiskey. Okay, they can't be sourcing whiskey from out of the state, and they don't. And the government inspector makes sure that they don't. of noticeably finer taste, finer than what? With a special smoothness and mildness, which are the result of masterful blending. Okay. I can laugh that off because they're inexpensive. This was $8.99 for a liter bottle. I want to correct that. It was actually $6.99 for the liter bottle. I bought this 2 years ago in 2020, right when the scamdemic was starting. I drove one Saturday morning all the way to Texas, crossed the bridge, went up through Bridge City, along the eastern side of Texas, went to Orange, Texas, the furthest east Texas town before you get to Louisiana. And I went to Red Ball Liquors on the United States Highway. It can't be Louisiana Highway. United States Highway 90 business route. And I went in there and they had this, $6.99 for a liter. And the girl that was working the counter says, and it was a drive-through liquor store too, she says, I've never seen anybody buy that one. And I was thinking to myself, I believe that. Because they were coming through, I want Crown Royal, the same old story. All right. And then I went to eat at a Mexican restaurant. I think I went to the restaurant before that. They were having a birthday party. It was before the great fear set in, Everybody was worried about catching a little flu-like illness. So that's where I got this, $6.99 for the liter. Not the normal price. You're probably not going to see it for that. Probably pay $10.99. All right. This one was $12.99 at Total Wine and More in Metairie, Louisiana. The price has gone up 50 cents since then, thanks to the U.S. government's inflationary collaboration with the Federal Reserve System. But I don't run the show. If I did, you wouldn't have inflation. Good morning, Ron, says David Cassidy. Good morning to you. So these are the same in the sense that they're owned by the same company now. And they're blended whiskey, like you get blended Scotch, like say Johnny Walker is blended Scotch, or blended Canadian whiskey like Crown Royal, or blended Irish whiskey like Jameson. These are American blended whiskeys. The flagship blended whiskey in America we know is Seagram 7 Crown. But interestingly, Kessler is the second best-selling American blended whiskey in America. Number 2. Not in Louisiana. I don't see it around much here. What's the second best blended whiskey around here? If I had to take a guess, we know it's clearly Seagram 7 Crown. That's without a, there's no disputing that. Go to any liquor store, any grocery store that sells liquor, which means all of them basically, but not Save-A-Lot. They don't sell liquor, or beer, or any wine or anything. And they're going to have Seagram 7 Crown. That's a guarantee. But the one I see the most in second place around here is probably Kentucky Dale. I see Kentucky Dale all over, any kind of bottle size. Handle, liter, 750, 375, 4, 200. It's everywhere. And it's owned by Sazerac. No shock there. Sunnybrook, I have never seen in Louisiana ever. I told you I bought it in Orange, Texas. But if you check the websites in Texas like Specs or these other liquor store chains, it's everybody got it. Everybody sells it. So it's popular in Texas. Burley Sullivan says, hello, Burley. You got to join us again one day. All right. BC's Beer Reviews hadn't been joining us lately. I guess he got stuff to do. He used to do a good job, I thought. Okay. So here's the Kessler. It's got like brick red with a scene from the Old West, because that's where he shopped he moved out to from Hungary, he moved to Colorado, Wyoming as the West was developing, before most of those places were even states. Colorado was after 1870, right? But and then he got a big liquor company started. Sunnybrook, ooh, that thing hissed. You see when it gets low in the bottle, you build up air pressure and it'll hiss. I don't know who started it, but I know it's not independent anymore. This much I certainly do know. Sunnybrook was never any kind of big company. But if you look up old advertisements on Bing or Google or Yahoo, you'll see old advertisements for Sunnybrook. And they had a straight bourbon also. I don't know if they still make that one. I'm about to pour the wrong thing. But I can't say, they might. They might. It's like Bellows. I said, they make blended whiskey. Yeah. I went to Savannah Discount. Whoop, there it is on the shelf. Bellows straight bourbon. I say, whoops. T.W. Samuel, same story. Blended whiskey all over Louisiana, but I went to Mississippi. There's the white label, straight bourbon, T.W. Samuel straight bourbon. And I think they make a T.W. Samuel's bottled in bond. So got to watch it before you make these definitive statements when you don't exactly know. Because a lot of these liquor companies don't list everything. Most of them don't. Having a coffee with Irish cream. Remarkable, laughing out loud. I like the Irish cream, the limited amount that I've had. Plan to buy more. Okay, now one thing we notice. You might notice the cat. We're getting a little glint of daylight. It's going to be cold out there walking. I hate to be. Now the cat, she's just like walking around. I said, I don't know how you could take this cold. She was going, but she wanted food. She wanted to come in and she wanted food because I noticed she just had crumbs in the bottom of the food bowl. But as far as cold, she was just, nonchalant. I said, oh, well, very dark copper. Now, when I go walking, she'll hear me walking and then she'll come with me. Like, you walk a dog. This is walking a cat. She walks the whole route, half a mile. Now, only during the dark. When the sunlight comes up, she don't want to go. But you know how that goes. She's going to stop, smell stuff, go here, climb a tree, jump back down, hide in a ditch, and jump out at me like I call it. She plays sneak attack. So, I mean, it's not exactly a straight line walk, but it's exercise for the cat. This one's just amber, you see. Still snowing here. Ooh. It snowed here in 2017 heavily. And I was so excited. I said, it's going to make a great backdrop for my video. And I had the Goose Island Bourbon County Stout 2017. And I was going to film it, or not film, but, digitally record it with the snow, the heavy snow too, in the background. And you saw the video, it's still posted. It lasts 35 seconds. I picked up the bottle and my hands were so dry. Slipped out my hand, hit the concrete, smashed and shattered. I said, golly, that's $10.99 gone. Disgusting, really. I want to go shopping in Metairie next week. Get some more stuff. I might go get some more Bourbon County 2021 because I made the video and I accidentally deleted it. I still put it in the Duo Taste Challenge with the cherry wood. Was cherry wood better? It wasn't worth what they wanted. I mean, it's not worth $16.99 because you get a little taste of a slightly altered flavor. I said, well, I did it. I reviewed it. At least I can say that. But don't want to waste in these times, says GMAC 187. I know. But I couldn't help it. It fell. I've done it before, but I mean, it's not common. I break glasses more commonly. And you're going to say, because you're drunk and you don't know what's going on. Usually I break them when I'm washing them. I'm washing them in the sink, hand washing them, and they slip out my hand and break. I mean, that's what happens. Or I'll knock it over accident. Like I kicked the glass with my foot that sniffed her and it shattered. Because I had set it down to do something and my foot hit it. I said, golly, I would have been quite, oh yeah, I was aggravated. But it wasn't no purpose getting too aggravated because it wasn't going to make the beer come back. It's like when that rock hit my windshield last Saturday. Brand new car. I was aggravated when I saw that big line go across the windshield, that crack. When I saw the rock flying, I thought it was going to just shatter the windshield. It was coming so fast from that Ram truck. But it hit, ping, made like a vibrating sound. Wee, 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 wee. An instant crack. I said, oh, no, it can't be repaired. It's got to be replaced. It's a funny thing about a new car. It's almost like a magnet for shopping baskets and grocery store carts and rocks. This is sour. Like sourdough bread. I bet it's using sour mash bourbon, but I don't know that. I think it might be. I bought a 12-pack of Bud Ice that ripped about 5 feet from my car, smashed about half them boys. So irritating. Yeah, sour mash bourbon and a lot of corn, because you know the grain spirits is invariably corn. Does grain spirit have to be corn? No, if you look at the Tax and Trade Bureau website, it just says from grain. Could be wheat, could be rice, oats, doesn't matter, as long as it's clear, neutral in the aroma and flavor, and unaged. And the funny thing is they say it has to be stored in wood vessels. Well, if it's stored in wood, isn't it aging if it's being stored? Something to think about. They can't store it in metal. Can't be stored in metal tank. Like beer is stored in a lot, usually in metal vats. Got to be wood. This one doesn't smell much different, honestly. I think they're using the same bourbon. I think they're probably using the same bourbon in the blend, but at a different ratio. One is 20% bourbon, aged 4 years, and the other one is 27.5% bourbon, so a higher percentage, but only aged 2 years. So think of those factors, those variables. That could be such a complex interaction that you'd never be able to tell what's the benefit or the downside versus one versus the other. Why do they have different blend ratios for these? Why don't they just put them all out at 80-20, age them 2 years, and sell them on the shelf? You'd have to call Beam Suntory and ask them why they have different ratios. It's probably because they have different mindset about each brand. Okay, so an aroma, can I tell them apart? No. If I look down, yeah, because one is darker, and I know the darker one is Kessler, so I'm not gonna look down. All right, taste time. This has a strange like pecan oil or walnut oil thing. I'm not in love with that flavor, and there's a lot of corn, sweet corn sugar, corn syrup, corn products. That weird walnut oil thing, I think, is Kessler. That's the Kessler calling card. I'm gonna have to keep my mind on that. But this one has a lot more of that. So one has some walnut oil or pecan oil taste, and one has a whole lot of it. So I think the Kessler has more of it. So which one do I prefer? Well, honestly, I'm not in love with either one of these. Oh, I'm glad I didn't pay a lot. Do either one of these measure up to Seagram 7 Crown? Oh, no, 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 no. Seagram 7 Crown destroys these two. And you're going to see that in the taste challenge. They have no chance. No chance. Seagram's has a richer, Seagram 7 has a richer, fuller, more woody flavor. You can taste the oak barrel in that. And it tastes like bourbon if you didn't know better, with the softness coming from the 75% grain spirits. But they do it so well. It's like perfect. You say, well, that's why it's number one. That's probably true. And plus it had a huge company backing it up until 22 years ago. And they still get a lot of promotion from Diageo, at least on the internet. So, but these are kind of shabby compared to that. Are they shabby on their own merits? At room temperature neat, which nobody drinks these at room temperature neat. All right. They at least use an ice, but they are kind of shabby on their own. Jim Beam is not the greatest bourbon, really, but it's not bad. Yeah, that's got to be Kessler. It's got too much of that nut oil. I mean, Jim Beam, I'm happy. I'm fine with Jim Beam. If I can get it for $12.87 or $14, yeah, fine, no problem. And I got a great deal on a 750 milliliter amount. Mathern's had it for $9.98. True story. When's the last time you seen Jim Beam for $9.98? 2000, 2002. Been a long time. I could still get Evan Williams green label for $9.99 at some stores. Probably won't buy it. I've already done video reviews for it, and the black label, the regular Evan Williams, the 86 proof. But they're worth, they're worth a revisit. And in my opinion, and this is probably going to aggravate some people from recollection now, in my opinion, I think Evan Williams is probably a little bit better than Jim Beam, but some people would just get very angry about that statement. And I'm sorry about that. But I do believe that. All right. These are good in some ways. In some ways. But as I see it now, we only looking at a B minus, 80 out of 100. If you push it, 82. I would say the Kessler's more like 80. And that's maybe a stretch. It might just be in the C range, like average, like so-so, but not very good. Not good. Sunnybrook maybe 80. So I'm not sure. 78 to 80. I'm saying at the low end of these 78, C plus, high end 82, and that's really probably going overboard. So would I buy either one of these again? Oh, no, no, no. Would I recommend them? I would not really recommend them. I would not recommend them unless just for some reason you're like me and you want to do the long march through the brands and you say, well, I never had it. I want to buy it so I could just see what it's like. Well, yeah, didn't buy it. It's not going to be like, horrendously bad or anything such as that. But yeah, I wouldn't make any kind of special effort. If you're not into all that, if you're not one of these people, I got to try everything. Yeah, skip it. Heck. Are American blended whiskeys even worth trying? Well, Seagram 7 Crown is. Canadian whiskeys can be kind of funky monkey like this too, though. They just have, to me, a less unpleasant thing going. I mean, Crown Royal, yeah, I mean, that's well made, that's refined. That's like the Seagram 7 Crown. It's like a top shelf cheap one. You know what I'm saying? And look at the following. #1 whiskey in America. Think about that for a minute. The best-selling whiskey in America is not a straight bourbon. It's not a Tennessee whiskey. No, it's Canadian blended whiskey. Crown Royal has surpassed everybody to become the #1 selling brand in America. And that's with the shortages. It's thinking they didn't have shortages. So I guess Americans like Crown Royal. They like blended whiskey. They just probably don't like these two. Oh, well. Sunnybrook. 2 in a row. Or is it 3? 2 in a row. Got it right. So I think I've got a taste for Julius Kessler blended whiskey. I didn't say I had a taste in the sense that I like it. I'm saying I got a taste that I can recognize it. I wouldn't buy it again. Beer Hounds Beer Reviews was pushing me to get it. I mean, I'm not upset that I bought it, but I mean, I could have just as soon gone to something else. But now the next one I'm going to do is that Iron Wheel from Sazerac in half a year. Iron Wheel is 25% straight bourbon. I don't remember the age. I think 3 years. They're claiming on the, they claim on the bottle, oh, this is a revolutionary blended whiskey and all of this, and it's about the Old West, and there's an essay on both sides. You almost got to take time off to read it. It was $8.99. That was a great price for the bottle. They had big bottles too. It was prominently displayed at the liquor store Hocus Pocus, so I guess they're making a big push for it. I don't know. Now let's go to the comments. Evan Williams was good, but I always got really bad hangovers the next day. Well, you probably drink too much, but I mean, I don't know. I don't drink a lot of whiskey. Evan Williams tastes nice, but doesn't agree with my digestive system, quote unquote. Oh, well. Well, TMI. It's got to be the Crown Apple. Crown Apple's popular. The rise in popularity of Crown Royal has to do with it being popular with the rap artists on social media. Yeah, that sounds about right. Kind of like Hennessy, right? People love their Hennessy. They be drinking it all day long. Girl, you better go get some Crown Royal. That's what I'm about to do. But I don't mind it. I mean, I like Hennessy and I like Crown Royal, so why would I? Yeah, TMI. Why would I care? If I was looking to buy a Canadian blended whiskey, and I might be looking to do that, Crown Royal would be a first pick. Well, actually, it wouldn't be. It would be Rich and Rare Reserve. Because Rich and Rare Reserve tastes as good, if not better. I don't think it tastes better personally, but some people are claiming it does. And it's half the price. So why would I pay? Why would I pay twice the price for something that's marginally better and maybe not better, depending on who you talk to? So yeah, Rich and Rare Reserve all day long. But I wouldn't buy either one of these. That's it. Crown Royal is seen as luxury. Yeah, luxury. Like gold teethus and huge rims on a 1985 Grand Prix. And all the rings and tattoos, the rings be sparkling. These rings be sparkling. They be sparkling. But that's fine. I mean, if that's your idea of luxury, I don't have any issue with it. I don't want to be part of it. I don't have any tattoos. I don't have any rings on my fingers or bells on my toes. I don't have gold teethus. And but I mean, whatever you want to do, you feel me? Whatever you want to do, you feel me? If you want to go to a Travis Scott concert, get trampled, that's fine. That's your business. I never heard one song from him. I'm sure he's a wholesome person. Probably sings about nice things like cleaning up the garage for your grandfather or going out on a hiking trail in the country, in the woods, looking at birds and nature and doing community projects to help the community. Probably what he sings about, I would assume. Some of these singers, they sing about terrible things, But anyway, so who wins here? Wins? I wouldn't call it a win. I would say that, and I'm not trying to be negative, but I am calling it the way I'm seeing it. I find that Sunnybrook is the winner in the sense that it's not as unpalatable, but I wouldn't even buy this. So if I saw it again, I'd pass because I've had it. I've done that. I've been there, done that, and I don't want to do it again. All right. Only problem is I got 30% of the bottle, so I guess I will be doing it again. All right. Thanks for watching this video production. Now on to watch the lies. I mean the news.